Matvey Zakharenko, a tiny angel who is now 6 years old, turning 7, had no idea that he looked special and unique. Perhaps the child had indeed noticed that not everyone is as eager to embrace or kiss him as they would be with other babies. Matvey, like all other kids, loved playing, giggling and being the focus of attention for his mother. He appears to have forgotten about the horrific event that nearly killed him and placed him in excruciating pain based on what we see now. This is sad and yet so incredible that it can make you sigh in betrayal. This is the story of the nurse put the baby in the crib and left. When she came back, she kept screaming. But before we dig down deep, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to smash the notification bell to get updated whenever a new video is published. Without further ado, let's get into it. Acceptance is a wonderful gift you can give to your children on a daily basis. Even yet, it can be difficult at times. Raising kids is a difficult task. It would be much simpler if kids just did as you said, listened to everything we said, and didn't pick their nose in public. Each and every child is a blessing given to us for us to nurture and cherish. As a mother, you ought to know whatever your child wants, even though the child hasn't said anything. This provides the child with emotional stability. When this is paired with her nutritional function, a mother can assist her kid develop emotional intelligence and empathy for others. If a mother shirks her responsibility to her child, she may encourage them to take a wrong turn in life. Whenever children do something incorrectly, mothers need to discipline them in order to educate them about doing better. Whenever things are not going well, a mother doesn't forsake her child. Instead, she stays by the child's side, consoling her and telling her how much she loves him. Matvey was born in Tulsa, Russia, during November 2014, around 2 hours outside of Moscow. He was indeed a healthy child, with an exception of the small incidence of neonatal jaundice, which is common in infants. Neonatal jaundice is a common physical reaction in the body of newborn infants that cannot be prevented. It subsides over a course of 2 to 3 weeks. The yellowing of the eyes and skin caused by elevated bilirubin levels is known as jaundice. Doctors ordered a typical treatment for Matvey, phototherapy, which required the young Matvey to lay in a special bed underneath a phototherapy lamp. Phototherapy, commonly called bright light therapy, is a treatment for newborns with jaundice that involves the use of visible light. Blue lights are safe and effective for babies, and they will not harm the skin of the child. The infant will be stripped down to its underwear and laid on his back to absorb the most light. You can also drape the infant in a light pad or set him on a foldable light pad. Eye covering should be used to shield the baby's eyes from the bright light. The nurse should attend to the requirements of tiny Matvey throughout the session and therefore must not leave the baby alone. Throughout his light treatment, Matvey was normally under continual monitoring. Nonetheless, the nurse walked out of the room to perform other tasks. She had no idea how serious the consequences would be. One of the numerous lights went out when she was still away, and after a few minutes the nurse returned back towards the room and attempted to put out the fire, but another bulb exploded, causing greater fire. However, the boy suffered terrible burns that covered 75% of his body. His internal organs were also impacted. Matvey's skin ripped away, causing him great agony. Minor burns are unpleasant, but severe burns, such as the one Matvey had, are terrible and almost impossible to cure. They can even be life-threatening in some situations. People who have had major areas of their bodies burned are usually susceptible to infections and death. So it appeared that Matvey would be fighting for his life, and the hospital had to do all it took, including performing a miracle if necessary to assure the child's survival. Matvey, on the other hand, is not ready to give up life and continues to fight. He was such a brave warrior who managed to survive. Matvey had indeed been damaged and deformed severely as a consequence of the UV lamp blast, but he is not in imminent risk. Fortunately, the hospital was capable of treating his burns and saved the baby's life. Matvey's normal features will not be totally restored, albeit with plastic surgery, which is a long-term process. But unfortunately, this isn't the worst news the boy had ever received in his young life. Matvey now had to cope with another tragic predicament, as if being burned alive by an exploding UV bulb wasn't bad enough. Matvey's mother, who was only 19, was horrified when she learned what had occurred. She realised that he'll need multiple operations and extensive therapies, yet he would never be entirely recovered, and she didn't really like to look after a child who struggled from health concerns and deformities as a result of his burns. To everyone's amazement, the young mother determined she didn't want to be around Matvey anymore and walked out of his existence while he was still in the burns unit, struggling with his pain. The judgment was even more surprising than the tragedy. Why would a mother abandon her child when he needed her the most? When word of Matvey's situation emerged, volunteers, human rights activists, doctors and others rallied throughout the country to raise funds and lobby for Matvey to have a better shot at a happy life. Basically, it seemed like everyone in Russia had adopted an infant whose mother didn't want to be troubled with. Few adults could withstand second and third degree burns over the majority of their bodies. However, as the hospital had stated, Matvey is a true fighter who deserved every penny to guarantee he received the best possible care. At a very young age, like 12 days old, he is still not stopped by exploding UV lights, many procedures, or a mother who didn't deserve him. He's still not going to stop anytime soon. It's a beneficial move. The boy seems to have much grit and determination since it will help him prepare for the operations ahead of him and the future. When Matvey had been formally placed for adoption, Russian citizens band together just to find him a permanent home, and the entire country was aware of his story. Matvey became a national celebrity thanks to the media, and the greatest Russian hospitals were quick to give assistance. Furthermore, many families expressed interest in adopting the brave infant. Moreover, the exceptional degree of curiosity only added to the confusion. A year after the disaster, 2 women were still battling over Matvey's adoption, prolonging the process considerably longer than it ought to have been. Can you believe it? Russia is a shambles because of a small little angel. His mother, who abandoned him when he needed her the most, attempted to reclaim his custody after learning of his celebrity. How courageous Matvey's biologicals must be. However, the judge in Matvey's case decided that living with his biological mother was not even in the best interest of the boy, and he was given custody to Svetlana, a woman from Moscow. Svetlana had avoided the media's attention, unlike some other prospective adoption parents. She didn't want to have any limelight or exposure. All she desired was to provide Matvey with a happy and secure home. Svetlana stated that individuals from all around the country were concerned over Matvey's well-being and needed to know how he was doing, so she created an outstanding blog with updates and images. It's time to put pen to paper and tell you how her and her boy are doing. The adoption process has come to an end. Legally, Matvey is part of her family, but it was only a formality. He's someone she admired for a long time. Matvey had already had tons of surgery, but he'll need just a few more. He can now lift his hands, however plastic surgeons weren't able to repair his nose, so he occasionally wears a prosthesis. Matvey continues to smile despite his scars, and it has done so numerous times after finding a loving new home. When Matvey turned 4, they celebrated together, and his mother posted the blog to show her gratitude by thanking everyone and remarking on how quickly time goes, as if it was only yesterday. They look forward to having new school sounds and words every day. Matvey astounds everyone in his path. It's difficult to be unhappy when he's around. Everyone can feel his love and grin. He puts in a lot of effort, learns something new every day, and strives to duplicate everything. He enjoys drawing, music, and travelling. Matvey has already endured more anguish than most individuals do in a lifetime at the age of 6. His tenacity and will to live are quite amazing, and he may look forward to a future filled with joy and affection with his family. Keep your head up, Matvey, and your smile on your face. Well, that is all for today's story. What do you think about this story? What if Matvey had been taken by his biological mum? What would have happened to him? What would happen if the nurse didn't leave the room? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section down below. Before leaving, be sure to leave a like to this video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit the notification bell to get updated on our future contents. With this being said, see you in the next one.